It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I am Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and appraiser. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got so much I want to talk about today. Real estate has just been so incredibly busy, and it's not just me. I'm hearing agents all over town telling me how incredibly busy they are. A lot of buyers are out looking to buy houses right now, and we're still sort of hurting a little bit from a lack of inventory, believe it or not. We're actually having to, for the first time in many years, we're actually having to show many more houses than what we typically do, just because it's so hard to find the house the buyer is really looking for right now. It's just very difficult. Hopefully, maybe if you're thinking about selling your house anytime soon, I might urge you to consider speeding up that process, because now is a great time and many buyers are out, and for a number of reasons. One, interest rates are still so incredibly low. Certainly under 4%. In fact, I had a client just lock in their loan this week, as a matter of fact, a 30-year loan at 3.275. So, I mean, that's just really incredible. Well, then you've also got home values are still low compared to what they have been, say, 5 or 6 years ago, but they're going back up. You see these home values starting to creep up. So again, now if you're thinking about buying, then you need to get off the fence, because things are really starting to happen right now. A lot of good things going on in real estate, and obviously we would love to help you with the Palmetto Success Team. We help buyers and sellers all the time, and we do provide, I think, a lot of unique services, especially if you're looking at selling your home. Awful lot of value comes with this. Love to talk to you about it. In fact, we've mentioned a lot of this stuff on our radio show previously, but I'm not going to get into all those today, because I want to talk about a number of things. But the first thing I want to get into is, if you're thinking about selling your house, or maybe your house is currently on the market, maybe it's time for a little bit of a reality check here, because, you know, I did indicate as we started out, inventory is a little bit low, and buyers are just doing a lot of looking. They're having a very difficult time finding what they want very quickly. So we're wind up looking at a lot of houses. So sellers, I'm going to ask you to, let's look, maybe we need to have a little reality check here, because these are some of the things we're we've been seeing as we look at houses. And understand, if you're the homeowner and you've been living there for a number of years, you may not look at your house now in the same way a potential buyer would. So I'm going to throw some things out here, and again, not to try to hurt anybody's feelings, but trying to just make you aware if any of these situations exist with your home. Number one reality check is, you really need to take a look at your kitchen and master bedroom for to see, do we need any updates done there, I guess is what I'm getting for. Yeah, especially the kitchens. Buyers are expecting good things, sharp-looking, good-looking kitchen. And you know what? It's not even necessarily all about the size of the kitchen for a lot. Now, some do. They want a very big kitchen and plan to do a lot of cooking. But a lot of people really don't care about the size of the kitchen, but they do want it updated. Very nice-looking kitchens. This is not always the case, but the white cabinets seem to be the biggest choice by most buyers. And it's almost expected today, you need granite countertops. And we use or you still have a lot of houses with the Formica, and it's still very common, obviously, but that's not what buyers want today. And just something as simple as replacing the countertop maybe with granite. In fact, and if it's not granite, where you're really seeing buyers starting to focus right now are the quartz countertops. Really like those. But I think you'll find for a very small investment like that, it can produce a pretty significant return on that investment for sure. But make sure that kitchen looks good. It needs to sparkle. The floor is usually a big deal. If you've got a vinyl flooring, for example, unless it's new, buyers just really don't like vinyl flooring. They just don't like it. So either obviously, wood seems to be the big thing today, but there are some other things you can do. And I don't want to beat up the kitchen too much more than that, but you do need to make sure that kitchen's updated. That's going to be a big deal. And the other part of that is most people would sort of lump the kitchen and the bathrooms into the same statement, where kitchens and bathrooms need to be updated. But I'm going to tell you the master bedroom. Again, especially the flooring. If that carpet is worn out and dingy and does not look good, it's just a huge turnoff. And for some reason, it's been about these master bedrooms the last several houses I've been showing the last few months to buyers. Those have been the two big turnoffs when buyers walk away. It's been either the kitchen is not updated or the master bedroom is not updated. So just giving it to you for what it's worth. And so let me go to the second reality check, and that is to declutter your home. And I know that is about as inconvenient a thing you can ask a seller to do, especially if you've been living there for more than a year. You accumulate stuff, and then they just pile in there and they stack stuff up. And I guarantee you, even a small closet, if you pulled everything out of that closet, you would be absolutely shocked. In fact, you probably couldn't be able to get it all back in there now, because we just cram stuff and stick stuff everywhere. And again, big turnoff for buyers. It's just buyers can't see through a lot of the clutter. And I know sellers tell me, well, they need to have their own imagination, see how their stuff would look in here.
And now, the Mortgage Update with Erica Hill West on Success in Real Estate.
Good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin. Thank you for listening and joining in. And obviously, if you're thinking about buying a house, for most of us anyway, we're going to need a loan. And the absolute best place to go, or at least talk to, is our mortgage go-to gal, Miss Erica Hill West, which just happens to be on the phone with us. How you doing, Miss Erica?
I'm doing good. How are you, Frankie?
Oh, I am so fine today. But at least I'm not pregnant.
True. That would really throw a lot of confusion into the world if you were pregnant.
Sweetie, when are you due?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Good night.
But Ashley called me from your office yesterday, and she said, "Are you in labor?" I was like, "No, not yet."
Well,
not yet. So that's everybody's question, but I'm not in labor.
Oh, well, you got a lot of people that care.
Yeah, I know. It's so nice.
And I know you'll be glad to get this done and get this baby in the world, and can't wait to celebrate with you, that's for sure.
Thank you.
But, hey, let me, I found a list of questions that buyers forget to ask their lenders a lot of times.
Okay.
And I thought it was a pretty interesting list here, quite frankly. And wanted to see if you could help me with some. I don't know if we'll have time to go through all of them, but maybe a few of them.
Sure.
But number one, they forget to ask what kind of documentation do they need for the loan.
Yeah.
And I know you typically send us an email with a list with all the documents, but why is that so important to get that up front?
I do it because I'd like to set that expectation of what is required. And also, if people are planning on moving, I don't want them packing up documents that are required for the loan.
Excellent point.
it seems kind of, common knowledge, but you wouldn't believe how many people are like, oh, I already packed those.
Yeah.
So I try to get that information out. I also just tell everybody, even at pre-qualification, you don't even have a property, collect the documents and send them to me. Let me hold them and review them, because there is a chance that every piece of documentation that you give me can trigger more that's needed to answer other questions that come up. So
another
it's good
excellent
to get
point.
that out of the way.
And it seems like that happens more times than not. We provide all the information, and then something that was in something or not in something, now we got to provide something else. And if you don't get that up front, then it could delay closing.
Well, and it also, what it does is it makes for very, very frustrated buyers. Because what happens is they're like, well, this is all I thought I needed.
Right.
And so I try to let them know, this is the upfront documentation that's needed. This documentation might trigger others that's required. And once the underwriter looks at it, it might trigger more.
Right.
But this is a good preliminary list to start the file.
So we're going to need tax returns for 2 years, 3 years?
2 years.
3 years?
2.
Oh, 2 years. Okay.
Unless you're self-employed, then I like 3.
Okay. What else do you need?
W-2s for the last 2 years, 1099. Most recent, 30 days worth of pay stub. Most recent, 2 months worth of bank statements.
Well,
for
let me
all
ask you this: what if they don't have a pay stub? They just get a check, but there's no pay stub that comes with it.
Typically, if your company is so small that they don't do a pay stub, we usually just have your bookkeeper kind of do a ledger and sign and stamp it and send it in.
Okay.
That's easy to get. There's always a way around it, because there are some people that actually work for companies where there's only 2 or 3 employees, so they don't do pay stubs. They get a check.
Yeah, because that's usually all that the employee wants. They just want the check.
So sometimes we'll just have whoever. Sometimes they don't even have a bookkeeper; it's just the owner of the company will write a ledger of what their last couple paychecks were and sign it and send it in.
Well, let me try to get to some of these other questions.
Sure.
The second one here says they forget to ask if there's any specialty or government loans that they may qualify, because, and you know as well as I do, there are a lot of, especially first-time homebuyer programs out there that people may be able to benefit from.
Yeah, I try to fit somebody, especially if someone is a first-time home buyer. I let them know what kind of programs there are available. But a lot of times I ask them, what are you looking for? And a lot of times they say, well, I don't know. And I say, well, how much money are you wanting to put down? And if they say 0, then I typically start looking at down payment assistance, USDA properties, state housing, Richland County, any of those that they may qualify for. And sometimes they don't qualify for them, but it's good just to kind of get a list in my head while I'm going through their file and their credit profile to be able to match them up with the product that's best for them. Because sometimes just because you qualify for a down payment assistance program doesn't mean that that's the option you should take.
Sure. All right, well, let me ask you this one. There's always a lot of talk about the locking in the interest rates, and when's the best time to lock it in? Because and I guess if I word the question right, depending on how short a lock-in period you got, does that give you a better interest rate?
That's correct.
And how or why is that, or how exactly does that work? And then when do I need to look at trying to lock in?
Typically, I do not like doing any longer than 45-day rates, just because you're losing potential better interest rates by locking longer. So I typically like to lock within 30 to 45 days worth of within closing. It also depends on what time of year it is. Obviously, as we get into the spring and summer, there's always a chance that the market can become a little bit more volatile as far as how quick we can see movement in interest rate.
Right.
And so I may advise somebody, if you're comfortable with this rate and you're comfortable with this payment, I would advise you to lock in because I don't know that it's going to be here in 20 minutes.
Well, where I'm seeing the biggest issues when it comes to buyers trying to figure out when to lock in is when they're building a home.
Honestly, and that's so funny because I had an agent call me about his brother, and the answer was like, well, the longest we can lock in is for 120 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, that would take you to about August 6th. Oh, well, they're not supposed to close until September 28th. And I said, then 120-day lock isn't going to work.
Right. So you really have to just sort of wait.
And honestly, sometimes waiting to see what current market rates are within that 30 to 45-day period are going to be better than doing a 120-day lock now.
Right.
Because the longer you lock a rate, the more likelihood the rate's going to be higher.
Well, Miss Erica, I messed up and let the time run out on me, so we're about to run out of time, but I'll make sure everybody knows your contact information.
No problem. It was nice talking to you.
And, hey, let us know when you go into that hospital.
I know. If I call you next Friday, that means there's no baby yet.
Hey, we got a class next week, so you only get 48 hours of maternity leave.
That's right. That's right.
All right, sweetie. Y'all take care. All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, real estate broker in charge and appraiser. Just do a real quick advertisement or commercial, if you will. Our Real Estate School for Success has been incredibly busy all year. I mean, from January 1st all the way up to now, praise God, and this is not a complaint at all. We've been very, very busy. A lot of people looking to get into real estate, and for good reasons. It's a great time to be getting in. And if it's something you've been thinking about, getting your real estate license, and maybe it's just to maybe earn a little money on the side to help pay some college tuition or to pay off some bills because you already have a job, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get it done. You can still sell some houses on part-time, if I could use that terminology, and still create a little extra income. Or you may be looking to actually change your career and get into real estate. I know myself, I absolutely love it. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Just a great way to make a living and work for myself. That's the main thing. I really like that. But love for you to check us out. We've got you can go to our website, which is just www.realestateSchool4Success.com, and the 4 is FOR success.com, and there you'll find all our information, class schedules, and cost prices and stuff like that. Love to see you in the classroom very quick. All right, but I want to get back to some reality checks for sellers. Really just got a couple more that I just want to touch on real quick, and then I got a few notes I want to mention for home buyers. But the third reality check is, and this is a little bit different than what you've been hearing in the past. In fact, what you hear a lot of people say, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Well, I'm telling you different. You need to keep up with the Joneses. If your property is not as appealing and updated as the Joneses' property are, then it's really not very logical to think your house is going to bring the same price that the Joneses' house is selling for. And that's what I keep hearing an awful lot of. And I'm just going to give you one real quick example, and I certainly don't mean this in a bad way, but might as well be honest, and so that's what we're going to be. But if you have indoor pets, and I don't mean to be bashing pets. I enjoy dogs too, but that it's going to depreciate your home. You're not going to get the same value as a similar home near you that has no pets, and for a number of reasons, and I'm not going to get into all that, but just wanted to throw that out there. But you do need to try to keep up with at least what the Joneses are doing if you would like to see your property values appreciate at the same pace the Joneses are. Of course, you know when I say Joneses, we're talking about your neighbors. Y'all, and then the last reality check, take a look at some of these problem areas you see around your home. Now, again, because you live there, they're not so noticeable to you maybe now. certainly not an issue to you because you're used to living with whatever it is. But I'm telling you, when a buyer comes in and sees it, just little small things can become big problems and can hurt you substantially when it comes to the time to making an offer, because they're going to take every one of these little things into consideration. But one is just worn or outdated flooring, especially the carpet. If it's stained and just doesn't look good, I know it as a seller, I hear it all the time. Well, if the buyer doesn't like the carpet, they can have it replaced themselves. Yes, they can, or they can go find another house that already has fresh carpet in it. Now, they can do it that way too. So, the key is we want to make the house appealing to the buyer. We don't want them to go looking for the house that already has what they're looking for. So updated flooring, it just looks good, it smells good, it just helps things out an awful lot. I would also recommend just a little small job like paying attention to the some trim work, like the baseboards. They're all beat up and scuffed up, marked up. Get you a paintbrush out and put you another coat of paint on it, but make it look good. Make sure all your doorknobs are tightened. It's a bad feel when you go to grab a door and the doorknob's all loose, or maybe the knobs in the kitchen are loose on the kitchen cabinets and stuff. Just little things, I'm telling you, will make a huge difference. And and I said this just a minute ago, but you go around and paint this trim, put a fresh coat of paint, and I'm not even saying you got to paint the whole wall, but all of a sudden that accent from that new paint and trim work, door frames, see a lot, just put a fresh coat of paint on that, and it just does wonders, and you're talking very little money to make a huge difference in the appeal of your home, for sure. Messy closets. We kind of touched on that earlier. You really need to try to get that house decluttered. The assumption is if you're selling it, you're going to be moving anyway. Why not let's go ahead and get some stuff packed up and do something with it now. It'll help you when you get ready to actually move. You're ahead of the game, and you may find yourself moving a lot sooner because the house shows so much better when it's not so cluttered. Some other things, let's see here. Well, you know what? I do want to get on to the buyers. So that's my reality checks, I think, for right now with sellers. And hopefully you can put some of these reality checks to good use and make your home much more appealing. Now, one last thing, actually, before I leave the sellers. If you're serious about getting buyers to your home, you want them to come look at it, you absolutely have to have professional photography. That's where buyers are looking right now. In fact, pretty much every buyer I'm working with anymore, they've already identified the houses they want to go look at. In fact, rarely am I having to go find houses to go look at. They come to me with the list they've already found online themselves. Well, what are they looking at when they're online? They're looking at the photos. That's what they're looking at. And I promise you, and I won't embarrass him on the radio, but I should. But I've got a client right now, and I'm going to pick on him because we're also good friends, so I can do that. But he went and took some pictures of himself. He took the pictures himself of his house before it went on the market, and he provided them to me. And I just asked him, I said, "Are you kidding me? And you expect your house to sell with these pictures?" And he thought they looked great. And they did for the camera he was using, and considering he don't know how to take pictures. They did look pretty good. But, we use a professional real estate photographer. And I say real estate photographer because that's all he does. He doesn't go doing other things other than just things he likes doing himself. But his career is real estate photography. And I'm talking about Jerry Bilton. He owns Eagle Photography, does such an incredible job with his photos. In fact, the client I was just sort of beating up a little bit, my friend, once we got Jerry to take those photos and put those on the internet, on the websites, he was the very first person to say that he was absolutely amazed. He could not believe how big a difference it makes to actually have a professional do it.
Here's Frankie Griffin with your weekly featured property on Success in Real Estate.
And we do have an awesome featured property this week. Just came on the market, and I got to tell you, if we don't get an offer on it this weekend, I'm going to be very surprised. I can't believe how much interest already and how many times it's already been shown, and it just came on the market maybe 48 hours ago. But we've got a house, and would be great for first-time home buyer or a beginner type home, and I say beginner only because it is priced to sell and to sell right now. It's about a 1,650 square foot home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's got a large fenced-in backyard in a golf course community. It's Charwood over in West Columbia for under $100,000. In fact, it's on the market right now for $92,500, and I was really surprised that the seller was, wanted to put that price on there. I thought it would probably go for considerably more, my personal opinion. But he wants to get it sold. He's ready to move on. So it'd be an awesome opportunity for somebody. It's in very good condition, and love to show it to you if that's something you have an interest in. If you're thinking about buying a house and living over in the West Columbia area, it is considered a golf course community. It's certainly walking distance to Charwood, which is a very nice golf course, and love to show it to you. You can certainly contact me. In fact, let's do this. Just go to my website. First of all, you'll see the house listed on my website. It's right there on the home page on Calcutta Drive. For $92,500. You'll also notice the pictures in there that were taken by Jerry Bilton with Eagle Photography. He is our professional photographer, does an awesome job every time he goes out. Very, very pleased with that. But you'll also find my contact information. My cell phone is right there on my website. My email address, if you want to email me, you're more than welcome to do that. But just go to my website, just frankiegriffin.com. Frankie is Frankie, Griffin.com. And you'll also find a lot of other information on our website, I think. But one of the things that you may find interesting is I put all my real estate partners on my website. When I say partners, those that I've been working with and doing business with, referring clients to for years now, and they are incredibly good at what they do. In fact, obviously, in my opinion, the very best at what they do. You can click on that, and you'll find all my partners. Obviously, Andy On, our real estate attorney, Carolina Conditions, or Tim Mosley, our heating and air company, Bobby Bain, termite and pest control, David DeBose, home inspector, and the list goes on. But you'll also find, again, and I've been talking about this a good bit here in the last few minutes, but Jerry Bilton with Eagle Photography, because one thing I didn't get to finish before the end of the last break, so I want to finish this because I think it's important. You can actually go out and buy a very, very nice camera that obviously will take very nice pictures, and you can walk around, and I'm sure you can take some nice pictures. But you'll notice Jerry, the big difference with Jerry and what you see a lot of other photographers do, Jerry also comes in with his tripod. He stages every photo. We'll make sure everything is just right. I watch too many other photographers. Actually, they just take the pictures, and whatever's in it's in it. and that's the way it's going to look. But Jerry doesn't do that. He takes considerable time for each and every photo. That's why his photos look incredible. I have had nobody tell me that they were not very pleased with his work. And, even if you're selling your home by owner, if you're serious about getting your property sold, you got to get it on the internet. There are some ways you can do that as a for sale by owner. But, give Jerry a call. Let him come out, take these pictures. I think you'll be very, very pleased. In fact, I know you will. He can usually respond pretty quick. In fact, if you call him, say, at 10 o'clock this morning, he can probably be at your house at 10:30. Isn't that right, Jerry?
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, he can get it done very quickly and he obviously takes photos back. He does do a little editing to make sure everything looks exactly the way it needs to look. But when you get them back, you're going to be very, very pleased. I've had many clients ask me, even after the houses have sold, come back and ask for copies of the photos that he took of that house, and which I'm not sure why, because they don't own the house no more and they don't live there, but they really like those photos, I guess. So anyway, he just does a really, really good job, and I don't know how much time we got now. We got plenty of time. Got a couple of minutes. A couple things I did want to just mention about why, if you're thinking about buying, you need to get off the fence and let's do it now. We touched on a couple of them, but number one, the rates are so low right now. They're very low, historical lows still. But if you're looking at the news the same way I am and hearing what they're saying, the feds keep alluding to the fact they're going to start creeping up, and this year, more than likely, they're going to start going up. The other reason is rent is very high. Got a lot of people renting today, and because of that, the property owners and landlords, they can demand much higher rents because of so many tenants that are on the market. I can tell you, you could actually buy the property you're renting, and your house payment will be much cheaper than what you're paying in rent. That's just the way it's going to work. Isn't that right, Brian? Yes, it is. And didn't mean to call anybody out there. But no, rents are very high, so let's keep that money and make sure when you're making these payments, it's an investment, not money you're throwing away. Qualifying for the loan is much easier today. You can get a loan now with as little as about 3% down. If you should qualify for VA, obviously they have 100% financing. The mortgage insurance premiums, even if you have to pay them, which hopefully you will not have to pay them, but if you do, those have actually come down. So that's a lot cheaper at the moment. Another reason you need to go ahead and jump in here and let's buy is, real estate is an awesome investment for all kind of reasons. It's likely going to appreciate in value over the long term. Every now and then we have your hookups, just like any other investment. But over the long term, long range, it's an excellent investment. And then lastly, it just makes you feel good to be a homeowner. You actually own your home, and there's just no better feeling than that. When you get off work, hard day's work, you go home, and it's your home. It's not a house that you're just living in. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Hope you have a great weekend. You've been listening to Success in Real Estate on the Point.